Hey, welcome back to Extra Credit, everybody. Few and far between, but always pristine. I am your host, Cody LaRue, joined today with my co-hosts,
Tori Burks,
Paige Furby,
Becky Kelly.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
We're great.
I'm good.
Yeah? So this is going to be kind of a different version of Extra Credit, and I say that as if we've done like 20 of these, but we haven't. This is only like the third or fourth. It's been a busy year. But I do want to do more of these podcasts. But usually I only have teachers on here and other staff members. But you know what? I thought we're getting towards the end of the year. So I wanted to talk to not just the teacher, and that is Becky Kelly of the Early Childhood Education Program, but I wanted to talk to some of our students. So I'm joined with a senior, Tori Burks, and a junior, say your name again?
Paige Furby.
Paige Furby. Furby like the little,
It's not spelled like that.
It's not spelled like that?
No.
Thank God, because those things were a nightmare.
I know.
So, Becky, how you doing?
I'm great.
How's your year going?
My year has actually been very good. But ready for summer break, aren't we all?
Oh, yeah. I got to say, I feel a lot of the time by this portion of the year, I feel like an action movie star where they're in a river being swept away and they're just hanging onto a log. Just they're not actively swimming anymore. They're just like, I'm waiting until I can be saved. So that's the summer. It's just let's hang on and make it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's been a stressful year. I don't have to yell a lot in class. I'm not the yelling type, but I do have a teacher voice. Do you have a teacher voice?
I do have a teacher voice.
Yeah.
Yes. I use it. I can use it all the time, even if it's not at school.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Sometimes I bust out the teacher voice, when it's not at school. That's true. I realized I did it the other day, a couple weeks ago, actually. Went to the movies, and there were some, I would say, middle school age children, and they were just talking at the beginning. And I was like, okay, it's the previews, not a big deal. But if they continue talking when this movie starts, I'm going to lose it. So
And you lost it.
I did. I gave them like 5 minutes to quiet down, and I couldn't hear something, and I immediately busted out the teacher voice. I was like, hey, you need to get out of here. Or, go have a conversation somewhere else, or be quiet. We paid to be here. And I was like, oh, man, that was my teacher voice.
It's good to have a teacher voice, see?
Yeah, I put a little bass in my voice.
You told kids that?
I did. Don't mess with me at a movie theater.
What movie did you see?
I don't want to talk about it. It was Dungeons & Dragons, but whatever.
Nerd.
It was. It was a very good movie.
It's just nerdy.
Shout out to the D&D movie. They did it right. Honor
Awesome.
Amongst
Oh,
Thieves.
stop.
So I wanted to have students on here because I wanted to talk about, your year at the JVS. We're kind of wrapping up, nearing the end of the year. Tori, you've been here 2 years. This is your senior
man.
year. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's been dope, man. Like, it's crazy because when I first came here, I remember you asked all of us, like, questions as juniors. It's like, what do you want to learn? And, like, how do you want to prepare for, like, college and things like that? And I was like, oh, yeah, I want to get into, like, music and things like that and stuff. And then we got into, like, graphic design, and I was like, ooh, this ain't really up my alley. First time doing it. I think the first project we did was, like, a grime art. And I was trying to get, like, used to all this graphic design projects, and then we got into photography, and I'm like, oh, now I'm using a camera, and then we got into videography, where I was like, okay, this is up my alley, because I like to do content creation and things like that. And then I remember the first time they asked me, he was like, Tori, you want to be on the podcast? And the first time I was a bit nervous. Then as time went on, I got comfortable with the kids around me and BPA and everything like that, so it just became, it was really cool, and this is, like, my thing now, like radio. It's just my thing. I love it, and I feel like I'm now prepared to go do big in college and things like that, go beyond.
Yeah, you can check out Tori, by the way, on the Vocational Voiceover podcast, also found on the JVS channel, Jefferson County Vocational School. That's a long name if you want it. Remember to hit like, share, subscribe, smash that notification bell. Always got to be plugging.
Yeah.
Paige, this is your first year.
Yeah.
So, what were you thinking coming into the school year? How do you think it's gone? I know your teacher's right there, but be honest with her.
Well, I really like this school. Like, I've gotten more opportunities and I've gotten more confidence. But the hardest thing was, I think, coming to a new school and then, like, making new friends because I don't really have much people in my lab. So, like, that was kind of, like, the hardest thing. But I'm starting to, like, really get there. I don't know.
Yeah? Did you make a lot of friends this year?
Not really.
No? Did you make some friends?
Some, yeah.
Okay. I'm the type of person that I don't want a ton of friends anyway.
Yeah.
I want to keep my group
Small.
very small, but we're tight-knit. So, like, I hang out with the same guys that I've hung out with for the last 10 years or more from college every single weekend. So that's, you don't always need a ton of friends. It's about, what do you always say, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So what do you think of your program?
I really like the program. I want to be a teacher or, like, do something with children. I just like I like helping kids. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be nervous. I get it. You like helping kids.
Yeah.
What specifically do you like? Do you like creating lessons and teaching
Yeah.
them, or do you specifically like focusing on struggling children who need that extra help and that personal attention?
I would say both because I like making lessons. I like presenting and, like, I'm really creative. So, like, I do, like, good lessons, I guess.
And she does.
Good.
And I want to help kids that are in need. And, like, at one point in time, I wanted to be, like, a CPS worker, but I don't know yet. But I really like helping kids.
Well, sure. What are you, 17, 18?
17, I'll almost be 18.
Yeah, 17 years old, and we're like, of course you don't know what you really want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have an idea. That's good. You want to have an idea, but we put a lot of pressure on these kids.
We do.
I mean, not necessarily us.
But society as a
yes,
whole, wanting
society,
them to decide what they want to be when you're 16. Even before that, I mean, we start asking kids about what they want to be earlier. But it's been a great year, I think, for Paige. I mean, from the beginning of the year till now, I've really seen her confidence soar. She makes awesome lesson plans. She puts a lot of time into them. She is very creative. She doesn't do very many worksheets with the kids, which we don't like anyways. She always has hands-on lessons for them. And if we have anybody that's struggling, I can always say, hey, Paige, can you help them? Or she's there in the mornings, and the preschoolers have to do what we call signing in, where they have to write their name. And I'm going to say out of the 11 preschoolers there, almost all of them, they can all write most all their letters. And she's good at sitting down with them and helping them make that letter formation, building those fine muscle skills that they need to be able to do that. So
that's awesome.
It's been a pleasure to watch her grow this year. She went with us to FCCLA competition, so she had to rise above her nervousness, and she rocked it. So looking forward to going to state leadership with her, too, next week.
Congratulations. Good luck.
You.
My seniors and a couple of juniors also made it to our state leadership conference this year. So, we make champions here at the JVS. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
So for anyone who wants to come here, I always say it's not about – I think there's a lot of misinformation regarding the JVS and, like, what we do, how we do it. There's the old stigma of, like, oh, well, only the bad kids come. Only the bad kids come here. But it's not true.
It's not true at all.
Really, I always like to tell prospective students and parents, no matter what program they want to come into, if you're interested in the JVS, ask yourself one question. How do you like to learn? Do you want to sit in the traditional high school where you're taking notes, probably taking a test, doing assignments? That's fine. That works for some people. Or instead of being spoken to, do you physically just want to do the thing? And if you're a kinetic learner like that and you want to, instead of, just listening and seeing visually, you physically want to get your hands on that education and take advantage of that, check out the JVS.
Absolutely. It's a school where you can, use your skills. And you can learn a trade and go to right to work. You don't always have to go to college. You can go straight into work. Even students leaving my program can be successful in daycare, be a teacher's aide without even going on to school.
Right.
We will prepare you for that. So there's many, many things that they can do.
But it's also important to acknowledge that if you do want to go to college, this still prepares you for that.
Yeah.
See, my program in particular really does gear towards college. Multimedia is such a broad, faceted environment that it spans so many different technologies and areas. I couldn't possibly even begin to cover everything in 2 years. So I try and get them exposed to as much as possible, build a base foundation of skills that apply to many different areas. And then from there, they can go to college and specialize. They have already advanced experience in the field. They have job opportunities, school-to-work programs, things like that. And then they also have an idea of where they want to focus. Because I'll tell you, that was one thing that was big for me. My freshman year in college, I was a theater major. I was going for acting, and I thought, for sure, that's 100% what I was going to do. And just like you, actually, I took one radio class, and I was like, oh, I like this. I said, this is what I want to do. So I got into radio and television broadcasting, and I've always loved movies and making things and analyzing and writing and talking and performing. So it kind of all just came together with multimedia. I got into teaching because I wanted to use my degree in different ways, and I had worked in many different areas, but I'm also a millennial, so when I entered the job market, it was rough out there. So you got to be able to adapt and figure out what you want to do. And I think our students really are ahead of the game, prepared for that.
Oh, absolutely. And same thing with our program, too. You might not be sure if you want to be a teacher or if you like working with kids. Well, you can come here and experience it. And we also do, we go right now to Cross Creek Elementary one time a month, and they get to work with students that are older. We only have preschool here. So they can get that experience. And maybe, they decide they want to be a teacher, but it might not be preschool or early childhood. As we've went out in the community and worked with our community partners, they can find other avenues of things that they like, or they like working with older children or social work or several other opportunities for them.
Paige, have you done that yet?
Mm-hmm.
So have you had any weird experiences out there yet?
Not yet, but I don't.
Any troubling kids?
Not really.
See, I realized early in my career I had to work with high school students.
Yeah.
I don't deal well with little kids. I had one experience being a substitute teacher for an elementary school. I think it was like 5th grade. I walk into the class, we're doing a lesson, and this kid just lays on the ground, and I go, "Hey, bud, you got to get up." And he goes, "I can't, I'm dead." And I my adult brain, I'm going, I don't know how to argue this. I said, well, you're not, so get up. And he goes, "I can't, I'm dead." And I was like, okay, I guess just lay there. I didn't know what to do. Like, if it was a high school kid, I might berate them. But you can't do that to a little kid. I might be like, "Hey, you're being ridiculous," or like, "What is wrong with you?" I could say that to a high school kid, and there won't be any lasting psychological damage, maybe. Yeah. But little kids are weird. I can't handle them.
I like the kids, man.
We love the kids.
Yeah.
They're funny.
Yeah, we did have the preschoolers coming in here, and they kept playing Tori's sound effect that we have on our podcast board. Yeah. Which bank is that?
I forget.
One.
It might be a certain bank.
Try one.
It might be one. Yeah, go to one.
Go to one?
Yeah. It's just Sound 8, I think.
Sound 8?
Yeah.
All right.
think when you click baby, baby, I think it's that. Baby, baby.
Yeah, they played that.
And they could not stop repeating it over and over again. And I felt good about that. That's why I like the kids, because it keeps repeating in their head over and over again.
They did. Yeah. Just over and over. Baby, baby.
Yeah.
There was also one kid who kept, for no reason, just screaming Fortnite Battle Pass. And I was like, I was so confused at that. See, this is exactly why I don't understand how little kids' brains work.
Well, I think he gets on and plays Fortnite, and he probably wears headset like this, so it reminds him of that. So,
yeah. Also, you got to pay for the Battle Pass. Who's giving that kid their credit card? Like, is he spending the money?
Probably him or he has an older brother, but probably.
I think I went to school with his mother.
I think you did too.
Yeah, so I hope he's not spending like all her money on Fortnite. But, it is what it is. I just want to acknowledge too real quick, we have Peyton who is switching our cameras here, doing a good job today, I think, hopefully.
Hello, I think I'm doing a good job. I just turned on the thing. Hi, I'm Peyton. I am the switcher on this. Whenever we got the switcher, I started switching this instead of Landon, who's on the vocational. Landon's the one editing this. I'm going to put an editing thing for Landon to do. Landon, put some words here. Yeah. As the main editor, I got to challenge the other editors to see if they do a good job.
That's right.
But, yeah, I'm doing good. Hi, I also go to school. I don't know what to say. I don't know how Landon does it.
Well, he's usually as awkward as that too. We cut to him and he's just like, I don't know what we're doing. So you haven't experienced a kid pretending to be dead yet? Okay, let's say if you were in my position and that happened to you, how should I have gone about dealing with that?
I would be like, you're not dead, get up. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I was like, I'm like 2 seconds away from just picking him up. He's like 20 pounds. I could probably pick him up. But then...
I hope he's more than 20 pounds if he's in the 5th grade.
See, I don't know anything about kids. I don't have kids. I don't know anything about them. I don't really even like them.
I think you'll like kids.
But you did a good job. When the kids were here, it was awesome. They had a great time down here and talked about it for a long time.
They were fun.
They were great.
They loved it.
You sleeping on the kids, LaRue.
I might be.
Come on, man.
But I just don't know how to talk to them most of the time. It's like, hey, did you see the news the other day? And they're like, Fortnite Battle Pass.
Baby.
Yeah,
baby. He's too grown up, man.
I am. I've lost that inner child.
Uh-oh.
I know. It's like, and ironically, my favorite Disney movie growing up was Peter Pan.
Oh.
Weird, right? I know. We need some sad music. Oh, there is the sad trombone.
Yep.
This is what we do in here. So, Tori, I've kind of been neglecting you. So, do you have any advice for somebody who's coming in to the JVS or even considering it? Like, what do you think?
I mean, it's dope, man. Like, all the people are cool. I mean, if you're want to be something like me and get into radio, you just got to be confident. You know what I mean? Just like speak, with passion, with your voice. If you're passionate about it, just say it, speak it, anything, whether favorite movie, shoe, show, anything. Like, if you're passionate about it, you will be entertaining, and I promise you will be successful at the JVS. So it's dope. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people fear change, and that holds a lot of people back. Yeah. I can't tell you the number of students that come to me and are like, oh, I really wanted to go to the JVS, but none of my friends went, and I didn't want to leave. And it's like, well, that's how life is. And Tori is about to graduate. He's about to move on to that next step.
Yeah.
Go to college. Like, things are going to change. It's weird. It's tough.
It's ever changing.
That's
it really
true.
is. It really is. Life in general is ever changing. And if it's something you're passionate about or something that you really want to do, you have to take that leap of faith and, try it.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And you guys' perspective of like when we like leave and like go on to do bigger things, are you like, well, I hope they do well, or it's like, oh, nah, I got another group of kids coming? I got to deal with these guys.
No, I always like to hear or see what my former students are doing.
Okay.
Most of the time, like I'm friends with them on social media. And actually now here at the JVS, I have a former student who is now my aide in the preschool. So it's kind of nice to see that success. And
I got to say that's something that shocks me, actually, because a lot of teachers get into the business because they feel it's a calling for them. And when I was taking education classes to be a teacher, I heard that all the time. It's like, oh, what is your motivation for being a teacher? And they're like, I just have a passion for it, and I feel it's a calling, and I love students, and I want to help them so much. And Cody, what's your personal teaching style? And I said, disdain. It's like I challenge them to be as good as me. I never got into teaching to be like this, warm, fuzzy, caring, nurturing individual. That's not me. I'm sarcastic. I'm weird and funny, and I'm competitive. So I enjoy sharing the knowledge that I am passionate about. So that's why I teach. So I never thought that I'd have those warm, fuzzy feelings with students. I thought, as soon as they're gone, out of my head. But it doesn't. I'm a person. Teachers are people. It's a shocking thing. But just like any other person, you form bonds with certain people, and they stick with you. I have former students that stick with me, and I do think of them sometimes, and I'm like, hey, man, I wonder what that kid's doing. I hope he's doing well. I hope she continued on with this, XYZ. Some students hit me up on social media and keep me informed on what they're doing. I'm cool with that once they leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once they leave. Yeah. Don't ask me till you're gone.
Right.
Yep.
But so certain people stick with you, and others don't. Some just like anybody else. I don't want to say that I don't care about anybody, because I care about all of my students. I do wish them well. I hope they're successful. But a lot of that, too, comes back to my own ego. It's like, well, I like to think that I prepared them well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So if somebody's unsuccessful or they just don't care and they go out and fail, well, that bums me out, because it's like...
hurts our teacher feelings. Feels like we didn't do our job.
Yes. Yeah. It hurts my teacher feelings.
Yep.
So I think, we're at about the 20-minute mark. Do you have any last comments, concerns, things that you want to talk about?
Nope. I think I'm good.
Any advice for anyone? Oh, actually, I'll ask you. Do you have any advice, since you just went through your first year? What do you think somebody needs to know if they're considering on coming to the JVS, or specifically in your program?
I think people should come here. Like I said, I think it's better than going to normal school, because you get more opportunities. I don't know, builds your confidence, and it builds you as a person. You learn. I think I've learned more here than I do at my old school.
The one thing I really want to hammer home to all of our viewers out there, if you are considering coming to the JVS and you think, I'm going to come to the JVS because you spend half your day in a lab, so it's got to be easier than going to classes all day. It is not.
Yeah, we still have requirements.
We are doing work. Mm-hmm. You can ask any of my seniors. Peyton, you want to chime in on that?
I would love to, actually. Hold on.
Yeah, I knew you would.
Okay. One thing that I've noticed a lot happens is that a lot of people think the JVS in multiple classes. I think I've heard this about every single class. Some people think that the certain thing they do all day is just kind of sit and just do stuff, and that's easier. But the thing is that the stuff they teach here is hard. No matter which lab you're in, it is something that if you do not have any previous experience or any passion for it, you're not really gonna have a good time. I've noticed this a lot. There are people who go to labs, and then they're like, oh, I'm not that passionate in that. And then they go to another one, and they're genuinely passionate in it, and then they just skyrocket, and they're like, wow, this is what I wanted to do. And, of course, it's okay if you mess up the first time you're trying to look for something. But always know that it's not going to just be, easy. It's not going to be like, oh, I should just go here because like I'm just going to be on the computer all day. Like, no, you're going to do work, and if you don't do that, you're going to do bad, and you're just going to not have a good grade, and that's going to affect your like school like portfolio or whatever. But yeah, I think it's important to recognize that this is still a school, no matter if you're passionate or if you're not passionate, no matter what, it's a school. You have to learn, you have to write down stuff, you have to do work. And that's something that I always want to make clear about the JVS. But yeah, that's really it.
Cool. Last thing I really want to say, just because I'm interested, he reminded me of it. How do you feel about grades? Because for me, I don't really care about the grades as much. I don't ever feel like students should come here because I don't think their motivations should be from grades. So all of my projects, things like that, if you give me the required project requirements that I ask for, you're going to do fine. I'm not doing it for the grades. I want you to try. I want to inspire creativity. I want people to not give me the bare minimum. I want them to actually take risks, try and become a better artist in my class, things like that. And I always wonder what students' motivations are when they're here. Do they really only care about the grades? Because I've had students who are like, well, what grade am I going to get on this? It's like, well, why are you thinking about it that way? You should be just trying to do the best you can always.
And I think that's the same way with me, Cody. I mean, ultimately, we have to give them a grade. But if you are trying and putting forth the effort and meeting those requirements that we put out there, you're going to get the grade. Mm-hmm. And I think it's also about learning something, trying something new, challenging yourself to be a better person. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something in your vocation, but being a better person, being kind, reaching out to others in need or that need help, just trying to better yourself.
Right. What about you? How much do you care about grades?
I mean, not really. Like I've become like an A and B and C like student here. But, like at my old school, I was probably like a C student.
Right.
So like now, like I kind of care about my grades more because I feel like the work here is a little bit easier, and I feel like her work's really like easier for me.
But it's not so much that the work is easy, but it's something that you're passionate about and something that you care about. Yeah. So it makes it easier. And you're probably putting forth more effort and you just don't realize it because it's something that you really like and that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I had speech classes and literature classes in high school, and I always did fantastic in those because I liked those things. It was something I was interested in, so I could focus my energy and attention. Sorry to every math teacher out there, but I could not do math. And, I mean, I passed it, but, yeah, I did not care about it. I hated it. It was something that was a constant source of stress and frustration for me. So I just, grades ceased to matter at that point. Though I suppose it's a little different for you guys because we're teachers. We've already graduated high school. We're done. You guys have to worry about grades because they have next
requirements
steps.
to fill, yeah.
Yeah, if they get better grades and they want to go to college, that's a whole other, can of worms, I guess, especially with the way that the educational system is set up. And I think if you ask any teacher in the world, or especially this country, how they feel about our educational system, they're going to have a few words to say.
Oh yeah. In 30 years, I've seen the education system change a lot.
They told us that in school. It's like every 5 years they try and implement this new thing that's going to change the world, and it never does. And I think that's why at the end of the day we should just be focusing on what can they do, can they learn. It's about motivation. I think they need to have the correct motivation, and grades shouldn't be that motivation. It should come from challenging themselves and wanting to just better themselves. And that's where true learning comes from.
Absolutely.
Tori,
agree.
What about you?
When it comes to like grades, especially in here, I really don't care about it. I more just want to just improve. Like with graphic design, obviously that's like not my thing, but I obviously want to get better at it. Like the thing about multimedia, it's like so many things. There's so many aspects of it. It's like we did graphic design. Now we're using cameras and taking photos, and now we're learning how to use video cameras and things like that. So I want to get good at every aspect. That way, when I go on in life, that way when people ask me, "Oh, you can make a video. Oh, we gonna need some pictures. So I could take pictures." It's like, "Oh, we need to make a logo. I could also do that too." So it's it's such a variety of things that I can do. You know, that's why I want to be better than other people competing against me, because I know they want to top that.
That's right.
So that's my take on it. I don't really care about the grade. I just want to get better and improve.
You got to market yourself. That's right. Make yourself as marketable as possible. Get that money.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
I think that'll wrap it up. This is a great conversation, guys. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment below. What do you guys think? Do you have opinions on anything? I don't care. Let's talk about it. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll do another one of these this year. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Thanks.
Thank you.
This is the wrong song.
Wrong song.
Whatever. We're going to play it.